Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime, back at it again for another Transformers action figure video, and today we're looking at a very special figure. This is the Transformers Collectors Club exclusive Thrustinator. So, anyway, before we get into the figure, let's take a look at the packaging. And honestly, for being such a high premium quality figure from Hasbro, the box here is really bland. Just like my humor. Oh! Self-loathing joke. One nice feature about the box, though, is it does feature a opening flap, and inside the figure comes in a nice foam insert.
Well, that's fancy.
Included here with the instructions is a nice collector card with some artwork to make up for the lack of, artwork on the box itself. And I always love getting like technical data and stuff like that and bits of lore here. But yeah, you can pause this right here and you can take a look at that if you wish to read that.
Skill 8.5, Intelligence 5, Speed 8, Endurance 7.5, Rank 7, Courage 7.5, Fire Blast 8, and Skill 6.5.
And again, appreciate that artwork. Very fantastic illustration of Thrustinator. The only accessories Thrustinator includes is just the blaster right here, which is done in the nice little, coloration right there of Waspinator and Thrust. And then he comes with a bunch of these missiles, and you can stick one of these in here, and you can just very simply... Oh, that was disappointing. I don't understand. It was working earlier. Thrustinator here also features some weapon storage. You can store both of the missiles here in these little cavities embedded inside of the wings. And of course, the gun goes straight into his
big, fat, stripy
butthole. Anyway, here's now taking a look at Thrustinator in his bug mode, because that's what he came packaged in. If none of you are familiar with this figure, pretty much this is a Transformers Collectors Club subscription service exclusive repainted / slightly retooled figure of an obscure toy named Dirge Gun. I had never even heard of the character Dirge Gun until researching more about this figure. Long story short, Waspinator from Beast Wars, his spark got reused in Beast Machines to create a character named Thrust. And pretty much what they're doing is this is an alternate universe version where Thrust and Waspinator merge together as one being, and so here he is. Pretty much instead of that Dirge Gun figure in the blues and grays, they've now changed it to be in the green, yellow, and then the hot pink, and honestly, I think it works for this mold way better. And this has always been a holy grail figure of mine I've always wanted to get because I love Beast Wars and I love Waspinator, and this is just one of those really rare figures I thought I'd never be able to get my hands on, and yet, here he is. Anyway, taking an up-close look at the head sculpt, I love the bug eye right there, and again, I love the half-and-half head right here. The mechanical side also looks really good as well. Also, the fists right there do look a little funny because it kind of looks like he's really excited about something, and he's clenching his fists up close to his face. I like some of the bug texturing, and I love the yellow stripe going on across the back. And this nice big old gun right here also looks really cool as well. You can also stick a missile in that, and that can also launch, but obviously I'm not doing that again. And yeah, overall, I love the redesign here. I like how there's kind of half Waspinator, half, cybernetic, just kind of going all around. I also love these very blade-like wings here. The wings are really cool looking. And overall, it's just a very good size, and I really love how this thing came out. The guy who I bought this from, though, he did warn me about the little seam marks that are starting to form here on the bug legs, one right there and one right there. I hear there's fixes for that, but for now, I'm just happy to have this figure in general because how hard it is to obtain this figure, which, by the way, anyone wanting to get this figure, good luck. Thankfully, I bought this at TFCon, and I was able to avoid buying it off of
eBay.
Getting into the bug mode posability, sadly there's nothing at the head. I mean, if you mistransform it a little bit, there is a little bit of up and down right here, but honestly, I don't really use it that often. Like I mentioned, movable cannon right here on the back. There are ball joints and hinge joints here at these bug legs, which allow them to move all over the place. Same thing goes back here. These are pretty much just the robot mode legs with an extra set of blue ball joints, so these can swivel, hinge up and down, move all over the place back there. And then the wings here are on ball joints as well, so they can rotate and hinge forward and back and flap up and down. So all kinds of stuff you can be doing with this figure. I think it looks fantastic. Cyberpunk 2099 looking at. And now just for some comparisons, here is the Thrustinator figure with the Kingdom Deluxe class Waspinator in his Wasp mode, just so you can kind of get a sense of scale. Here he is with the Thrilling 30 Deluxe class Tankor from Beast Machines. And then here he is with the only other Collectors Club repaint figure I have, the Depth Charge repaint. Totally didn't have to pay a fortune for this. And now with the comparisons out of the way, let's get right on into this guy's transformation. And this guy is totally not having a hard time standing. Taking a look at Thrustinator's head sculpt here, really love how it's got all the waspinator-y designs while also fusing those bits of thrust in there at the same time. Really appreciate the effort they went to making this new head sculpt. I also really love just the rest of the design here, like now that it's here in the robot mode. It's got the Predacon logo right there in the middle, so he is labeled as not a Viacon, he's a Predacon. And I guess with the way how this design kind of looks, you could technically consider this a Fusor. Because, I mean, Fusors typically are this, like, mishmashed version of a robot, just with other bits kind of thrown onto it. Only in this case, it's like a half cybernetic, half animal type thing, instead of it being just two animals mashed together. And because of how weak the knee ball joints have become, I've reduced to being able to have to use these wings as an extra set of legs, because if they were not here, he would definitely be falling over.
Why, universe, hate waspinator?
The universe said hate Waspinator, and Thrustinator said hate the universe. I'm surprised that the mold this is based on, with how old it actually is still surprisingly posable, even compared to some figures that are out nowadays. Thrustinator here features a ball joint at the head, but because of the way how it was remolded, it only allows for him to look side to side, and then it can't really look up or down or pivot or anything. Ball joints at the shoulders, which allow for his shoulders to rotate a full 360. He also has a butterfly joint in there due to transformation. The ball joint in the shoulder also allows it to move out, in and out that far. He's got a bicep swivel over 90 degrees of bend at a single jointed elbow. Nothing at the wrist, sadly, though I guarantee a modern figure would probably have wrist rotation. And then nothing at the waist with the way how it transforms. Ball joints at the hips, which allow it to kick forward that far, and because of the way it's sculpted, can't really kick back that far, unless you untab the crotch bit. Then it would allow him to kick back that far, but obviously it then starts to look a little goofy. Really far bend at the knee, and then the ball joint in there allows it to swivel a little bit, but that's really it for the legs. And then, of course, the rear cannon back here is also accessible, along with the ball-jointed wings. And then here is Thrustinator compared next to the Kingdom Waspinator. Or, sorry, Waspinator. Here is Thrustinator compared next to Tankor. And then finally, here is Thrustinator compared next to the Collectors Club Depth Charge. And I totally wasn't having trouble standing Thrustinator up. I just can't stand this.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
As for some final thoughts on this figure, even though this was a personal holy grail of mine for me to get into the collection, I am not going to let my bias or anything get in the way, because I want to be genuine about this figure. It's honestly a good figure. It's not a great figure, but it's just good. Because again, this is an outdated mold, and I'm just surprised that it still manages to hold up even compared to some other figures that have released nowadays. To put it into perspective, there have been some brand new action figures that have come out nowadays that feel like a step in the right direction and really feel brand new and innovative and really fun. And then there are some that are just absolute hot garbage trash that feel like a step backwards in the way we don't want to go, and yet they are figures that have come out nowadays. Like, I mean, the point I'm trying to make here is that Thrustinator manages to be still like a brand new idea and still manages to be a figure that's fun to play with even though it's older. And this has nothing to do with it being an exclusive. This is about it being a toy and its engineering. The exclusivity of the figure is appreciated and it's a cool part of the figure, but it's not the entirety of why I like this figure. It's kind of similar to my opinion on the HasLab Deathsaurus. It's like the figure is genuinely well engineered and it's well put together, the figure is cool, the character's cool. The exclusivity of the figure doesn't really have anything to do with it, but it is a nice bonus. I'm totally not trying to flex on you guys with this one. Okay, maybe a little bit. With all that in mind and all that being said, I give Thrustinator a very solid 7 out of 10. Not too crazy, but he's also not that bad either. Like, I legitimately like this toy, and I'm really satisfied that I'm finally able to get my hands on him. And yeah, if anyone else is trying to get their hands on him, as I mentioned, good luck. And, but yeah, that is basically it for this review. If you guys enjoyed it, give me a like on the video. Comment below what you guys think. Let me know what you want to see me review in the near future, and I'll catch you guys next time.